Hooey! Hey there, folks. I just wanted to give you all the best goddamn review of Ubisoft's newest Far Cry game. And you know what? It's a treat. It's got guns, it's got glory, and best of all, it's got more guns. Now, you see, this is safe, but it's not safe no more because we're about to play some fun stuff right now. So, how about we get on with this review? Let's kick this pig.
All joking aside, Far Cry 5 is probably exactly the game I expected it to be. And that's a good thing, because that means the game is actually fun to play. I enjoy the fact that they chose not to go the route of making some sort of grand statement about American politics. I feel that this is probably not the right studio to be expecting that. That aside, the game is fun. Far Cry 5 is fun. I don't have another way to put that. And that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted from Far Cry 5. If you're looking for something more, if you're looking for something that's going to be some grand statement about what's wrong with American society, I just look somewhere else. This is not your game. But if you want something fun, just keep watching. Now, Far Cry 5 sets the tone for the game very early on. In quite possibly is one of the most tense situations I've ever experienced in a game. You meet Joseph Seed, and it's definitely not one of those situations you'd want to see yourself in. When you first get the option to arrest him, you can choose not to, and I think that's where Ubisoft really shows just how weak the story is, because the smartest option is to walk away, because that's how you could solve the entire problem with the game can be solved in the opening moments by not playing the game. Now, when you actually decide to play the game, which is the point, you spent the $60 for a reason, that's where it really falls apart. That's where a lot of the issues I have with it are, because it really doesn't make sense. And maybe that's the point, I guess. It's not supposed to make sense. It's a Far Cry game. So, I mean, as long as you're able to suspend disbelief and just have fun with it, I think you'll be fine. You're not buying Far Cry 5 to take part in some amazing story. You're buying it because it's a fun damn game to play. And so, let's talk about the gameplay. Now, Far Cry games in particular are ones that definitely they're very focused on the gameplay, and there's a reason for that. They do it very well. And why would you change that? I mean, you're given the tools necessary, the skills necessary to do whatever, mission that comes up, and you can do it in any different number of ways. Of course, when they just run past you, it makes it easy, but when the AI is actually responding to you, it poses a little bit more of a challenge. I will say one thing, I do feel like the game handles really well, and with the exception of helicopters, the vehicles do too. It's fun to just roam around and wreak havoc, and when you do get a chance to actually really take on a bunch of enemies at once, it's very hectic. And then, of course, you have the animals, like the damn skunks that attack you out of nowhere, so there's always that. Now, going back to the stealth in particular, I feel like this is probably the weakest area of Far Cry 5. Like, you're capable in the way that, you can complete a lot of objectives silently. The problem is that, I mean, the AI is so stupid in this game that you can basically do what you do in Battlefield games, and I talked about this in my Battlefield 1 review, where you can just throw rocks, or in this case, whatever you find on the ground, and lure your enemies to their death over and over, one by one. It really kind of takes a lot of the fun out of the stealth experience. So now, thankfully, like any other Ubisoft game, you're given the ability to take part in side activities, like, for instance, hunting And thankfully, in Far Cry 5, hunting is not quite the same activity as it was in others. In this case, you pretty much just hunt for money or for the glory of punching mooses in the ass. So there's no, finding 5 boar skins or whatever to make a wallet. You're basically just making some cash. And when you get bored of punching mooses and stuff like that, you have the option to take part in taking down convoys and doing other side activities as well as side missions. And you can rescue hostages, you can take part in outpost raids, you can steal stuff from the various delivery trucks that are going around, or just blow stuff up if you really want to. And of course, like with other Far Cry games, you're treated to these drug-induced dream sequences where you have to deal with some sort of challenge that you normally wouldn't deal with in the game. Unfortunately, it also is caused by you getting ripped out of whatever you're doing at the time to take part in these activities. But I don't know. I felt like while I know they were using these as ways to like get you better introduced to the cult leaders, I just feel like it doesn't feel like it has a place in the game. And not to mention, when you finish these segments and they dump you, like, why wouldn't they just keep you or kill you or something, get rid of you? Instead, you're just left to your own devices again once you finish. And it seems to me that Ubisoft wanted to make this game as Murca as possible, because there's just flags and fireworks and flames and guns and all kinds of stuff. And even the characters in the game are, the generic characters we run across are some of the most, like, hardcore, stereotypical rednecks you'll ever see. And I don't know if they were intending on it being offensive or if they were just doing it to be funny. I'm going to go with the latter because I do find it a little funny. And I'm kind of interested to know if that's really what they think people who live out in the country are like. Because everyone in Far Cry 5's Hope County acts exactly the same. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you start playing it, if you play it. But even the end screens for victories, like when you finish a mission or if you finish one of the areas, like you complete an area and secure it for the resistance, you get fireworks and you get all this fanfare with flags waving and this kind of country music playing in the background. It's over the top, and I think that's really what Far Cry's about. And Far Cry 5 just exemplifies it even further. I really do think Far Cry 5 is a good game. It's not going to make any statements, but it's a wacky game. It's not meant to. It's a Ubisoft game. They're making a game that's supposed to be fun. And Far Cry 5 is, by all accounts, fun. It's a first-person shooter. You do a lot of cool stuff. You get to blow things up. That's what a Far Cry game is about. And the other part about it is that, it's not trying to paint you as the rosy protagonist. Like, you're not the good guy. In fact, nobody in this game is the good guy. And that's kind of how Far Cry games go. And that's why I feel like they kind of missed an opportunity, especially with the cultists. They didn't really give you a lot of humanizing moments with them outside of some of the major characters, which I feel is a missed opportunity. They kind of glossed over a lot of the cult members and kind of made them less human in a lot of ways. There's characters called angels in the game, which are basically like drug-addicted zombies. And it's even, they justify it in the game killing them because they say, like, oh, well, this veterinarian says that you can't cure them of this addiction, so you might as well just leave them alone or kill them. And it's like, wow, that kind of was a missed opportunity. And then the other part of it is, like, I don't understand why you as a character can't just leave Hope County and get help. It's never addressed. In fact, if you ever try to fly off the map, you'll just be met with this screen of, hey, turn back or you'll be respawned. And that honestly feels like a missed opportunity too. I feel like they could have done something about that, and they just kind of left it. But anyways, that doesn't change the fact that Far Cry 5, in my opinion, is a good game, worth checking out if you're into this kind of series, and I think I'll leave it at that. I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you get a chance, I would like you to hit that little like button at the bottom, or subscribe, or, go to my website where I write reviews about this kind of stuff, because I have a lot of topics I like to talk about, and I'd like to have you on there. So, on that note, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.